From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Victor Beattie reporting. A search and rescue operation is underway for those on board Egypt Air Flight 804, a flight from Paris to Cairo that disappeared from radar about the time it was to enter Egyptian airspace early Thursday. The Airbus A320 had 66 passengers and crew on board. Contact lost as the plane traveled at an altitude of some 11,000 meters. Reports indicate a distress call from the aircraft was intercepted by the Egyptian military. One of the more than 200 Nigerian schoolgirls abducted by the Sunni militant group Boko Haram more than 2 years ago has been found. Amina Ali, discovered Tuesday in the Sambisa forest of northeast Borno state by civilian vigilantes and soldiers. Olatunji Olarawanju is a member of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign.
On the list of 219 girls, she's number 127. She's from a village in Chibok called Mbalala. They've met with her parents. They've been able to debrief her, get some information, and she has been handed over to the Nigerian military for further debriefing. But we were also told that she was found with a child that is just about 1 year old or under 1 year of age.
The abduction of nearly 300 girls from their school village in Chibok, April 14, 2014, sparked international outrage. In Washington, Florida, Congresswoman Frederica Wilson celebrated the news.
This is an extremely critical development and the best possible confirmation of why it has been so important for us to fight for the safe return of these girls.
Congresswoman Wilson said it's time for the U.S. and other nations to join Nigeria in the hunt for the remaining abducted girls. This is VOA News. Forces loyal to the new Libyan unity government lost more than 30 men in clashes with fighters of the Islamic State. 7 were lost as a result of a car bomb explosion. The Libyans recaptured the checkpoint at Abu Ghraib near Misrata Tuesday from IS fighters. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry in Cairo Wednesday met Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi on a host of issues, including reviving the moribund Israel-Palestinian peace process. U.S. spokesman John Kirby said the U.S. diplomat expressed his appreciation for Mr. Sisi's strong support for advancing the Arab-Israeli peace, a process that broke down in 2014 with no agreement.
We remain committed to trying to get to a two-state solution, which means you have to get to the kind of conditions that are conducive to having discussions that would lead to that. And that has been a difficult discussion to be had in recent weeks and months because of the violence.
Kerry was also expected to take up matters regarding Libya, Syria, and the ongoing security crackdown on dissent in Egypt. In Syria, the British-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said government airstrikes Wednesday killed at least 13 members of one family in the central province of Homs. Bomb blasts occurred in a residential neighborhood of the rebel-controlled town of Rastan. It was seized by rebel groups in 2012, surrounded by government-backed forces. Meanwhile, the International Committee of the Red Cross said Wednesday an aid convoy entered the besieged rebel-held suburb of the capital Damascus called Hashtra in eastern Ghouta, receiving the first outside assistance in 4 years. A U.S. airstrike killed 2 high-value individuals in an attack on an Islamic State building in Iraq. Baghdad-based military spokesman Colonel Steve Warren said Wednesday the May 13 strike killed Abu Hamza and Abu Safia, as well as a third militant.
Abu Hamza was a mid-level military commander who was responsible for the area between Nasiriyah and Juba. Hamza was a former AQI member who we know planned and conducted attacks against Americans during Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Abu Hamza also responsible for coordinating Islamic State fighters, reinforcements, and finances. Abu Safia blamed for staging chemical weapons attacks in Iraq's Euphrates River Valley. Two strong aftershocks measuring 6.8 and 6.7 magnitude shook the coast of Ecuador Wednesday in the same place where last month's 7.8 magnitude quake killed more than 650. President Rafael Correa says Wednesday's quake killed 1, injured 85.
La gente que está albergada, pues, usted se imagina.
He says people still in shelters from the major quake of April 16 suffered through a number of aftershocks, and there's much panic. He's appealed for calm. Rescue workers in Sri Lanka Wednesday searched for victims of landslides caused by torrential rains. At least 3 villages affected, leaving nearly 40 people dead. I'm Victor Beattie, VOA News.
That's the latest world news from VOA.